At 2:41 a.m., Jessica heard a voice on the baby monitor, but it wasn't her baby. It was her own voice, saying, "Your husband is the killer." Jessica woke up suddenly, her heart racing. The new baby monitor was supposed to give me peace of mind. That's what the box promised, anyway. Crystal clear audio, a high-def camera, the whole 9 yards. For the first few nights, it worked like a charm. I'd watch little Leo sleeping in his crib, his tiny chest rising and falling, and feel that rush of pure, unfiltered love only a new mom knows. It was my little window into his world, a way to be there even when I wasn't. But last night, that window showed me something I can never unsee. It started around 3 a.m. I was half asleep on the couch, the monitor humming quietly on the coffee table beside me. Leo was sleeping soundly, a perfect picture of innocence. Then, a crackle of static broke the silence. It wasn't the usual interference. It was sharp, aggressive, like something was trying to force its way through. I sat up, my heart starting to thud against my ribs. The static cleared, and a voice whispered from the speaker. A woman's voice. It was hoarse, ragged, like she'd been screaming for days. And it was my voice. "Listen to me," it rasped, a desperate edge to every word. "You have to listen." I froze, my blood turning to ice. I glanced at the screen. Leo was still asleep, undisturbed. I must be dreaming. Sleep deprivation does weird things to your brain. I shook my head, trying to clear it, but the voice came again, louder this time, more insistent. "It's not a dream, Clara. This is real. You need to get out. You have to take Leo and get out of that house right now." My mind raced, trying to make sense of it. A prank? Someone hacked the monitor? But how did they know my name? How did they know about Leo? The voice was so familiar, every inflection, every slight lisp, ... It was me. But a version of me that had been through hell. "Who is this?" I whispered, my own voice trembling. As if it could hear me, the voice on the monitor answered, "I'm you, from the future. And I'm begging you, don't let him in." "Let who in?" I asked, my eyes darting towards the front door, the windows, every possible entry point. The house, which had always felt like a sanctuary, suddenly felt like a trap. The voice sobbed, a sound of pure, gut-wrenching despair that shook me to my core. "The man in the long coat, he'll come to the door. He'll say he's from the gas company. He'll have a kind face, a gentle voice. Do not open the door, Clara. No matter what he says, no matter what he does, do not let him in." A cold dread washed over me. This was too specific, too detailed to be a prank. It felt real, terrifyingly real. "Why? What does he want?" I asked, my hand hovering over my phone, ready to call the police, to call my husband, anyone. "He wants, Leo," the voice choked out. "He takes them. He takes the children. I let him in, Clara." I was tired. I was distracted. I opened the door. And I never saw Leo again. The words hit me like a physical blow. I looked at the monitor, at my beautiful, sleeping baby, and a primal fear I'd never known seized me. This future me, this ghost in the machine, was living my worst nightmare. "What do I do?" I cried, tears streaming down my face. "Just run," the voice pleaded. Grab the baby, grab your keys, and go. Don't pack anything. Don't hesitate. Just go. Go to your mother's house. Don't stop for anything. He's coming soon. He knows you're alone. The static began to crackle again, swallowing the voice. Please, Clara, it rasped, fading in and out. Don't make my mistake. Save our son, save, and then silence. Just the gentle, rhythmic sound of my baby's breathing. For a long moment, I just sat there, paralyzed by fear and confusion. Was I losing my mind? Was this some elaborate, cruel hoax? My rational brain was screaming that it was impossible. But my maternal instinct, that deep, unshakable gut feeling, was telling me to listen. It was telling me that the terror in that voice was genuine. I looked at the clock. 3:15 a.m. Who from the gas company comes at this hour? It didn't make sense. But the warning was so specific. The man in the long coat, the kind face, the lie about the gas company. It felt like a prophecy, a glimpse into a future I had to prevent. I couldn't risk it. I couldn't bet my son's life on the hope that this was just a hallucination. The thought of losing him, of living with the guilt that my future self was enduring, it was unbearable. Without another thought, I moved. My limbs felt heavy, my movements clumsy, but adrenaline was coursing through me. I crept into the nursery, my heart pounding in my ears. Leo stirred as I lifted him from his crib, his warm little body snuggling against my chest. I grabbed the diaper bag from the floor. It was always packed, a habit I was now eternally grateful for. Keys, phone. I snatched them from the kitchen counter. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely fit the key into the back door lock. I didn't dare look out the front window. I didn't want to see if a car was pulling up, if a figure in a long coat was walking up my driveway. The voice had said, soon. How soon was soon? Every second felt like an eternity. I slipped out the back door and into the cold night air, locking it behind me. The street was dark and empty. I strapped Leo into his car seat, my fingers fumbling with the buckles. He started to fuss, and I shushed him gently, whispering, "It's okay, baby. Mommy's here. We're safe." I wasn't sure if I was trying to comfort him or myself. As I backed out of the driveway, my headlights swept across the front of my house. And that's when I saw him, standing on the porch, his hand raised as if to knock. A tall man in a dark, long coat. The streetlight cast his face in shadow, but I could see the faint outline of a smile, a kind smile. My blood ran cold. He wasn't supposed to be here yet. He was early, or maybe my future self had bought me just enough time. I slammed my foot on the accelerator, the tires squealing on the pavement as I sped away. I didn't look back. I drove straight to my mother's house. My eyes constantly checking the rearview mirror, my heart hammering against my ribs. I don't know who or what that man was. I don't know how my future self was able to warn me. Maybe some connections, like the one between a mother and her child, transcend time and space. I don't have any answers. All I know is that a voice from a baby monitor told me to run, and I listened. And as I hold my son in my arms, safe and sound, I know I made the right choice. Some warnings, no matter how impossible they seem, are worth heeding. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content like this. Stay safe out there. Jessica's hand froze on the nursery door handle. Her heart pounded loudly in her chest. Behind her, the baby monitor whispered again, "Jessica, don't go in." She swallowed hard. "But you said tomorrow this happens," she whispered. "Yes," the voice replied, "but something changed." Jessica's grip tightened. What changed? A pause. Then the answer came. "You woke up earlier?" The fear. Jessica slowly stepped back from the door. Her breathing was uneven. Inside the nursery, everything looked quiet. Too quiet. On the monitor screen, baby Lily was still asleep, peaceful, unaware. Jessica whispered, "If someone is inside, why isn't Lily crying?" The voice answered softly, "Because he hasn't moved yet." A chill ran down her spine. He's waiting. The decision? Jessica looked toward her bedroom. Her husband Mark was still asleep. She could wake him, call the police, run. But what if this was all in her head? What if she was risking her baby by doing nothing? Her hands shook. "What do I do?" she asked. The voice replied quickly, "Take the monitor with you. Stay quiet. And don't turn on the lights." Jessica nodded slowly. The approach. She stepped closer to the nursery door again, carefully, quietly. Her fingers wrapped around the handle. She pushed it open just a little. The door creaked softly. Jessica froze. No movement inside. She opened it further. The nursery looked exactly the same. Crib, lamp, chair, and the closet. Closed. Jessica frowned. "The closet is shut," she whispered. The voice on the monitor sounded confused. "That's not possible." The mystery deepens. Jessica stepped inside slowly. Her eyes scanned the room. Everything seemed normal. Too normal. She walked toward Lily's crib. Her baby was still asleep. Jessica felt a small wave of relief. "Maybe there's no one here," she whispered. The voice responded immediately. "There's no one here." But then her phone screen flickered. The voice suddenly sounded panicked. "Jessica, move." The twist. Before she could react, a hand suddenly grabbed her from behind. Jessica gasped. The phone fell to the floor. A man's voice whispered close to her ear, "You should have stayed in bed." Jessica struggled. Her heart raced wildly. But then her phone screen flickered. The voice suddenly sounded panicked. "Jessica, move." The twist. Before she could react, a hand suddenly grabbed her from behind. Jessica gasped. The phone fell to the floor. A man's voice whispered close to her ear, "You should have stayed in bed." Jessica struggled. Her heart raced wildly. Then from the floor, the baby monitor crackled again. Her voice shouted, "Mark is behind you." Jessica's eyes widened. Behind her? But the man holding her, that was Mark's voice. The final truth. Jessica turned her head slightly and saw his reflection in the mirror. It was her husband, Mark. But his face looked different. Cold, empty. "You weren't supposed to wake up early," he said quietly. Jessica's mind spun. You did this?" Ending twist. Suddenly headlights flashed through the window. Police sirens echoed outside. Mark froze. Jessica's breath caught. The baby monitor lit up again. The voice spoke one last time. I told you. This time would be different. Mark looked toward the window in shock. Jessica whispered, "You said tomorrow." The voice replied softly, "No, this time. You saved yourself."